Hi, I'm Caitlin from Contagious Costuming in Greensboro, North Carolina. I always took costumes very seriously growing up. Halloween was always a really intense experience for me. It was never just about going and picking a costume off the wall. It was always about making something and being creative and being the only one. I was actually really a late blooming nerd growing up. I wasn't allowed to watch a whole lot of TV shows. I wasn't allowed to really read comic books or anything like that, no video games, but I read a lot of novels. So that's really kind of where it started. Then I got to college and I started playing video games. And I realized I really liked playing video games. And then I started getting more into science fiction and fantasy. When I moved to Greensboro, I started reading comics. And that really has influenced a lot of my cosplay things, because I started reading comics because I loved how they look. I love the costumes. I love capes. So that had a lot to do with it. As far as the influences go, was kind of going back and catching up on all of these things that I didn't really get to experience, but still really like. I'm really new to cosplay, is kind of the thing. When I was and I always did these costumes, and I did a lot of theater growing up, so I always did costumes for that. And then last year for Free Comic Book Day, I made a Power Girl cape because I thought I was so cool. And then we got out there and we met all the other cosplayers that they really kind of had their T's crossed and their I's dotted. Their costumes were all so good, and I was really impressed. And everyone was really friendly. It seemed like a neat community to get into. So that was when I kind of took my crafting and my skill collecting and all this other stuff that I did and put it towards a goal of these costumes and turned my costumes into cosplay. Well, I like to pick characters that I really am interested in, or I like to choose a lot of strong female characters. There's a lot more to the ladies of the comic book world and the science fiction community than just their figures. I love my Robin costume I just made. Carrie Kelly on so many levels. She was a really fun character for me, and as a Halloween costume it worked really well because on one level I was Robin, which anyone can really relate to, and then on another level for those nerds I was Carrie Kelly Robin. And I think I took my time even more on that costume and kind of hit a lot of things that I learned a lot of new things with it, and I got to make a really cool cape, and I think I'll be wearing Robin for a long time. I like to collect skills, so if I'm looking at a costume, I'll try and find some things that I can learn while creating that costume. Like my Melisandre costume, I created the fabric in Photoshop and had that printed and then had to customize it for it. I also made my own pattern for it. One that I'm working on next is I'm going to have some corset making. I'm going to have to learn how to do some leather making, so I'm always looking to better myself while doing these projects. Cosplay is just a part of really my costuming that I have. I'd love to see a future in costuming for film and creating really pieces for science fiction and fantasy that are really detailed and camera ready. Costuming for theater, a lot of times people kind of think of the 10-foot rule. There are a lot of theaters that don't, but you lose a lot of that richness and details when you're creating costumes for people that are going to be seen from very far away, and costumes that are going to be reused over and over on people of different shapes and sizes. So I really would like to go more into taking this to costuming for film. And I will always cosplay, and that's something I think I will continue to pass on to future generations. And my friends are now starting to cosplay with me, and my my family is finally starting to realize that it's not quite so weird. And I think it's just going to grow. I mean, I'm still in the first year of this. So I think by this time next year, you're going to be seeing even bigger and better things from Contagious Costuming.